The biggest issue for the Chiefs, their defense is incredible. Shout out to Steve Spagnuolo. He's amazing. They don't turn the ball over. They're 27th in the NFL in turnovers. So they're not an opportunistic defense. They are more of a stifling defense. They're just good because they keep you guessing and you don't know what you're doing. They blitz a lot. So yeah, I'm with you right there. And yeah, maybe this should be the tagline of the 49ers rush. It's just a toe, man. It's just a toe. Um, a couple other issues, special teams. We got to bring that up. It's awful. It's terrible. It's always going to be terrible. The good news: Jake Moody, 6 for 6 touchbacks on kickoffs. You eliminate 1/4 of the problem on special teams. You can just kick it in the back of the end zone. Now we're playing in Las Vegas, right? Allegiant. That's a dome. Don't got to worry about the rain. Don't got to worry about the wind. Just kick the damn ball as far as you can. Now, hopefully, special teams. Otherwise, Mitch is always solid. We just need Jake Moody to come in clutch, man. I don't know what else to say. Safety plays a concern. Tayshaun Gibson had a terrible half, followed by a great half against the Lions. We don't win that game without him. We don't fall in a 17-point deficit without him either, though. So, don't have to bail us out. Just be consistent. And the good news is their wide receivers are terrible. Travis Kelce's great, guys. He's first ballot Hall of Famer. This Travis Kelce isn't Travis Kelce. Now, what do I mean by that? This year has not been a top. How many years has he played? Let's say Travis Kelce's played 12 years. This is not a top 10 year for him. I hope you understand. However, playoffs in 2 games, Kelce showed up. And so, are we going to get that guy? You know what I mean? Is he's a baller, and whenever it matters, it matters. That's one of the things that, are we getting Kelce, who, almost broke the record for drops in a half? Or are we getting Kelce, who gets no separation? Or are we getting Kelce 11 catches, on 13 targets or whatever? You've got to change that. So, those are some of the things that you've got to figure out. You've got to. And then I got to talk about Jake Brendel. Probably my least favorite matchup every single week, all year. Name a defensive tackle against Jake Brendel. Got Chris Jones. Damn good defensive tackle. He plays edge. He plays end. He plays 3-5, one shade, slant, whatever. Chris Jones is him. He is. And he hasn't had as good a year. You look at Bosa and kind of how his year is compared to his defensive player of the year. You say the same thing for Chris Jones. But that dude is still a beast. Shout out to my man, Raymond. Appreciate you in the super chat. He says, hey, John, does KC defense show an advantage over ours? It says, does Kansas, I'm having a hard time understanding what you're asking there. Whose defense would I take? I take our personnel. I take their scheme and their DC. Let me put it this way, Raymond. I think this will answer your question. The most important people in the Kansas City Chiefs organization, this is according to John Chapman. A lot of people would disagree with this take, and that's okay. Patrick Mahomes, clear number 1. The number 2 most important player or person is Steve Spagnuolo. I think he's more important than Andy Reid. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me to that. That's okay. This is my opinion. They are there. The Chiefs are where they are right now this year because of their defense. They got the number 2 defense in points, number 2 defense in yards. They are unbelievable. What they did to Lamar Jackson, incredible. Turnovers helped them out, which they haven't done very much this year. But I would take the 49ers personnel by a mile over what the Chiefs are putting out there. But Spagnuolo is having a Hall of Fame worthy, staple year being as a DC. He is. We had a little. Sorry, jump down. We got the Airbnb Wi-Fi. Come on now. But I put their defense ahead of ours. I think that you have to, especially whenever you look at the playoffs. We're in shootouts, and the Kansas City Chiefs can't win a shootout this year. I understand Patrick Mahomes can win a shootout. I get that. They haven't scored over 30 points since Thanksgiving, the Chiefs. They're not a quality offense. Patrick Mahomes can do some superstar stuff, and that changes everything. But they didn't score any points in the second half against the Ravens. They didn't score any points at all. They're doing this because of their defense. The offense does enough. The defense is winning their games. And so, yeah, I take their defense over ours, and I hope that that answers your question. Um, and yeah, Kelsey's a freak. He is, and maybe he just goes all out and whatever else. And like a lot of people are like, man, let's double Kelsey. We don't do that. We've never done that. This scheme does not change its scheme for that. It doesn't. The most elusive thing that, or the most like constrictive out of the box thing that we have done is allow Charvarius Ward to trail DK Metcalf and do a cover 6 to where there's always a half safety behind him. So that's it. That's all that's the most we have ever done. And if a team does that as an offensive play caller, I can get you out of it in one simple motion. And it doesn't even affect the play. I literally just motion Kelce from this side to that side. Now we got a 2x2. You're not running a cover 6 to a 2x2. Like, you're just not going to do that. Yeah, I guess you could, but I wouldn't recommend it. It just doesn't work in our scheme that's zone heavy. So what you can do is you can highlight certain matchups to where, look, we're going to run our, you know, simple. We have the most simple defense out there ever. We're going to run a very simple cover 6, cover 3 quarters, whatever. But we're always going to send Tayshaun Gibson to his side. We're always going to send Fred Warner to his side. We're always going to send the nickel there to his side. That's it. I mean, you put in a couple things where man coverage wise, you could do some of those things where you have press man with safety help over the top and get out of quarters. But the Niners just don't do that very often. And it's not part of their scheme. Like, that's not a thing. Man defenses, if you do that, Patrick Mahomes will kill you everywhere else. Like, you've got to pick your poison. Every defense has an Achilles heel or susceptible to vulnerability somewhere just based on your call. Man coverage, you can beat with crossers. Zone coverage, you can find space if they don't get pressure. Like, it's just what it is. So I'm hoping we can mix it up a little bit. I'm hoping. And it took that going into the second half to do that. Oh, hopefully we get another second half performance, but we don't have to wait till the second half to do that. That's what I want. Ed says, John, I believe Omenahue's injury changed everything. He was their second best defender. I'm just a defensive line defender. Nick Bone's awesome, but he was killing it. And we know Omenahue. He had a lot of success. Longhorn, all the stuff, and then you had the off the field concerns. And when the off the field concerns happened, the 49ers said goodbye. And, that's another difference or advantage or disadvantage if you want to. Like, talk about Andy Reid, man. He loves players that do that kind of stuff. He built his teams with him from forever. And then he got injured. That hurts. I don't wish injuries on anybody. I don't. But, like, it is weird and how they're going to handle that. The Niners way healthier. And so, like, Omenahue is more important to the Chiefs defense than Cleveland Farrell was to ours. And Cleveland Farrell was beyond important to ours. No doubt about that. Thomas, Spagnuolo is the reason Brady has 2 less rings. Facts.
The 49ers Rush Podcast.